Hi, so this is the second probability question, and what we're given here is a survey on their preference of exercise was conducted among 140 people in two age groups. The information is summarized in this table below. Okay, so we have age, we have tennis, running, gym, which are the three exercises, and then we have total columns at the top and the bottom. Well, on the right and on the bottom. Okay, so for question 11.1, it asks us if it is given that preferring to play tennis, okay, and their age are independent of each other, determine the value of A. Okay, so if they're independent of each other, that means the probability of tennis, I'll make that T. Okay, so T. Okay, so T, R, G, and well, this I'll say young and old. Okay, so the probability of tennis times the probability of young, in this case, because we're looking for our A value, is going to be equal to the probability of tennis, of someone playing tennis and being under the age of 35, being young. Okay, so what we see here is the probability of tennis is 21 divided by the total of 140, right? I'm getting that from there. And then times that by your probability of y, which is 80 over 140. And that's going to be equal to A, obviously A, over 140. Okay, so if you pop that into your calculator, 21 times 80, okay, there we go. You are left with 12. Okay, so that means that A is equal to 12. Oh, I should have just looked at the next question. Okay, so for 11.2, it tells us if it is given that A is equal to 12, determine the probability that a randomly selected person prefers going to the gym or is in the age group 35 years and younger. Okay, so now I'm just going to erase some of this stuff so that it's not as complicated. Okay, so what we're looking at, or what we're looking for, rather, is the probability that a random person prefers going to the gym, okay, so this full 70, or is in the age group 35 years or younger, okay? But what you see here is we've got this intersection, okay? And the important thing about the C intersection is that if we were to say gym, the probability of them going to gym, for example, would be 70 over 140, plus the probability of them going to, basically being young is then 80 divided by 140, and you get that answer. That's actually going to be wrong. And the reason that's going to be wrong is because you've got this intersection of C. So C is included in the 70 and it's included in the 80. And so you end up having C in here twice. So you need to remove it once. Okay, and that's actually where your equation comes from, where probability of, in this case, gym or young is going to be equal to the probability of gym plus the probability of young minus the probability of gym and young. Okay, so yeah, I hope that clears things up with your equation. If anyone was wondering where the equation actually came from that, just removing the duplicate value in this case. And so in the previous question, and what they tell us is this is 12, and so if this is 12, this is then 9, but more importantly here, if we say 80 minus 12 minus 28, we are left with 40 being our C value. Okay, so 40 is our C value, and that means this is 30. We don't really need that, but good to just fill it in. Here, that means that probability of gym or young is then going to be equal to our 70 over 140 plus our 80 over 140 minus our 40 over 140. Okay, and so that is going to give us a value of, I believe, if I just pop this in the calculator, of 11 over 14. Which is 110 over 140, okay? Which is then also equal to 0.78571 ... Okay, so always look at your question. In this case, they didn't specify how your answer must be, but if they said a decimal, obviously give them a decimal. If they say a fraction, give them the fraction. If they say a simplified fraction, obviously give them the simplified fraction. If they say round it off to 2 decimal places, make sure you round off to 2 decimal places. If they say a percentage, you give them a percentage, 79%. If they say a percentage, round it off to 2 decimal places, you say this 78%, 0.57. Okay,